It's that time again this evening. It's Thursday, 29th of September 2022. You're welcome to Rethinking Lagos. This is our Lagos. We're going to be rethinking the sustainability and everything Lagos. So this evening is a very special show. Just as usual, we'll have special guests in the studio. We're going to be talking about Lagos, and today we'll be talking about waste in Lagos. If you live in Lagos, you should be concerned about waste management and disposal wherever you live. So welcome. Captain Smart is my name, and you know that I usually have somebody with me every day. I'm blessed that he's always been here for 3 weeks now. I don't believe that he's been here for 3 weeks, but Deji's back on the program. Deji, good evening to you. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me again. We're very happy to be doing this show, Rethinking Lagos, and the feedback has been quite great. We'll continue the conversation about how we need to make Lagos livable, inclusive, and sustainable. And like you rightly said, we're going to be looking at waste management today.
That's it. And we have two special guests in the studio, and I'll introduce them just now. First off, in no particular order, we'll have Folarin Opeyemi Joseph. Folarin Opeyemi Joseph is the YPP candidate of the Federal House of Representatives, Mushin Federal Constituency 2. Folarin, good to have you in the studio. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening. Good to be here. Good evening. Great to be here.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
And of course, making a return to the studio this evening, we'll have Tari Taylour, the Lagos State House of Assembly, Etiosa Constituency 1 candidate of the Youth Party. Tari, good to see you again. Welcome.
Thank you, Smart. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you. It's good to have you. So to set the tone for the day, we're going to be talking waste management in Lagos today. So I'm going to read a letter. Deji, there's a letter here. Okay. There's a letter here in case people have not heard, because Deji, when you sent me this letter yesterday, I noticed that it was the first time I was seeing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the first time I was seeing it, and bulk of the people in Lagos may not know about this. So it's good that we just read the letter verbatim so that it doesn't look like it's coming from us. So talking waste, really, it doesn't matter where you live. This is for everybody. So this letter is from the Lagos State government as far as it concerns Loma, really. And the title is Notification of Distribution of Waste Bins. Yeah, waste bins. The letter reads, the above refers, pursuant to our meeting earlier today, please note that effective 28 May 2022, all properties in the estate with containers such as broken or damaged waste bins. This is not the letter I want to read.
Oh, okay. That's the press. Press release.
Yeah, this is not the letter I want to read. What I want to read is the press release, really, from Loma, which is a public notice, and it reads: the Lagos Waste Management Authority, Loma, in executing the industrial mandate of managing solid waste in the state, and pursuant to Section 83 of the Lagos State Environmental Management and Protection Law, Number 10, Volume 50, 2017, hereby makes the following public announcement. So pay attention, please. That all tenements in Lagos State are expected to own a waste bin positioned in front of their properties. 2, that Loma will commence serving abatement notices on tenement without waste bins as notification and caution before implementation of the law from 1st October 2022. So this is going to be like the day after tomorrow. That the prosecution, please pay attention to this, the prosecution of defaulting tenement will begin from 1st January 2023. That the recommended Loma approved smart bins, they use my name here without getting smart bins, which are actually durable and have a minimum service life of 10 years, can be procured by tenement online at www.buylomabin.com or via our waste bin customer sales unit on the given number and another number. 5, that tenants may choose to procure alternative appropriate plastic waste bins provided they have flip-up covers and capable of storing waste generated without overflowing to litter the environment. 6 and the last, it is hereby, please pardon me because I think it's in small letters, it hereby emphasized that the purchase of Loma approved smart bins is an option, not compulsory. Loma cares. And this has been signed by Mr. Ibrahim Undumboni, MD CEO of Loma. So this is the cocoa of the matter that we're going to be talking about today. The Loma is coming now with this this announcement, and they are saying, look, you have to have these waste bins in front of your house, and the issue of recycled waste and the organic ones are there. So you're supposed to have like 2 waste bins in front of your house. And when I tried to find out from Deji, I found out that these waste bins, they don't sell for 1,000.
They're quite expensive.
If you have to buy it privately, you have to buy it for like some 23,000 naira. If you have to get it from Loma, it would cost you about 40,000 or thereabout. And they were started to ask, who is this for? Is it for big people like Deji? Or for big politicians like the ones we have in the house today? Or is it for people like us?
It's an interesting development, I must say.
Because everybody in Lagos will generate waste.
It's important that we create avenues whereby we effectively manage our waste clearly. It's important. It's not a bad idea in itself, but like again, I will always say, one bullet trying to solve all the problem across the state can be a big challenge here. So considering cost, considering logistics and all of that, in its practical sense, it's been said that it's not compulsory to get from Loma, but I have constantly called the Loma line, and maybe Loma has to clarify that. The second being is compulsory.
The second one is compulsory.
So which is the blue bin, which is the one for the recyclables. You understand? So that brings a whole lot of questions around, hey, why can't people just decide on their own where they want to get their bin from? I mean, why is the press release not speaking to this to the second bin? Is the first bin that is referring to, but in deployment you have about 2 bins. So Loma needs to pretty much clarify that. And this one single bullet, can it solve the problem across this Lagos for every tenant across the city of Lagos? We have other options that are cheaper for recyclables. We have jumbo bags that you can use to pack your recyclables inside them. This can be absorbed or done in other low income areas. Even individuals can. But I wouldn't want to do all the talking. These are guys who are contested. Let us have your perspective. I mean,
on that,
Folarin is from Mushi. How does it work for him? Tari from Lekki. Lekki.
No, Lekki, we can work for people in Lekki actually. No, it can work for them. But people in Mushi, you're asking me to go and buy a waste bin that is going to cost me 40,000.
The average is 30,000.
The average is 30. Even at that, 30. Some people, the minimum wage is 30,000. So I'm going to use my minimum wage to procure a waste bin for Loma to come and pick up waste that I have to pay for. So maybe we'll start from there, Folarin. How do you receive this? What do you make of this?
Yeah, thank you very much. At first, when I received the news, I was wondering the audience the message was passed across to. Is it for the entire Lagosians or for some set of people? Because considering the standard of living now, the economic hardship in the land, Loma issuing a statement, persuading in a way, and also persuading the residents to ensure that they procure a refuse disposal bin at that huge rate. Come on, not everyone can afford it at this point in time. There, several people are struggling to make means of livelihood at the moment. And again, disposing this waste, I think that is very key, because most times lawman, it takes a long while before lawman visit streets, some areas which are inaccessible due to the deplorable state of the road, and it calls for deep thinking on the part of the waste management agency that okay, can you profile other alternative for some set of people who cannot afford this waste bin at this moment. Yeah, I think like Mr. Deji rightly said, there's a need for us to ensure that jumbo nylon are made available to some set of people, set of citizens, because all lands are not equal. Some areas in this country cannot beat their chest and cannot even afford them paying for normal fee. How much more coming out to pay over 30k, like rightly 30k average, 40k.
But Folarin,
yes.
There's no time to check time.
Yes.
In this notice, they have said effective January 1, 2023, they'll start prosecuting people.
Yeah, by that law, you are likely to be imprisoned if you are found guilty. There's fine and there's imprisonment that comes with it.
They're not asking the opinion of people. This is a directive.
It shouldn't be in democracy. We need to get feedback from the public. When any directive, any policy of government should have feedback mechanism. You can't just wake up one day and just issue any instruction, any policy direction that will affect the livelihood of people. Yes. How do you expect some set of people to afford 40,000 to procure waste bins?
Yeah. Okay. Tari, let me come to you. You are in the highbrow area. That's the people you are seeking to represent at the Lagos State House of Assembly, Etiosa Constituency 1. So the rich people can afford to buy this bin. I mean, but what do you make of Loma and the services that are provided for Lagos people? They say one good turn deserves another. It's Loma, that agency, that can come up with this kind of initiative to force people to procure these bins. Deji has said they're not speaking to the second one. They're only talking about the first one here, but there's a second one. What do you make of this at this point in time, economically, for people, even though they are rich? Because I know the rich also cry.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. To me, I think this is long coming by Loma. They should have done this years ago. And the reason I say this is because in any city, especially like Lagos, which is a mega city, we generate up to 13 million tons of waste annually. It's mammoth, the amount of waste that we generate in Lagos. You have to have systems and mechanisms for managing that waste, for collecting that waste, for converting that waste, which is where the recycling and the plastic initiatives, come in, because we should be thinking about conversion. Now, standards need to be set, okay? We cannot all live in a vacuum and the way we like. There has to be standards that are set and maintained. And it falls under the mandate of Loma, under the Environment and Ministry of Environment. It falls on them to set those standards and enforce those standards. So all of us, wherever you are in Lagos, having a uniform, recognized sort of container for collecting and storing our waste is something that Loma has not just woken up and dreamed this up. It's something that is actually contained within the laws, the sanitation laws in Lagos. It is compulsory. Over the years, they have not enforced this, which is why we see all sorts. Things like drums and all sorts of containers that people use to store their waste, it is not suitable. It is below standard.
But is Loma not supposed to provide these bins? Because I pay them to collect the waste. So how they collect it should be their business.
No.
Should I pay for the bins?
Waste? But you should be responsible for how you store your waste. Loma is responsible for collecting. What Loma can do to assist citizens is that maybe they can have sort of like a long-term acquisition plan for the waste. Instead of paying 30,000 at once through the PSPs, maybe you can pay 3,000 at
like the electricity people do. They take the money from when you buy
included to your PSP charge per month, so they can stretch it out so that it's not such a burden on residents. But it must be done. It has to be done.
Okay, so I'll stay with you, Tari. Loma is the service provider.
Yes.
Right here.
No, the PSPs are the service provider.
Representing Loma. Regulator.
Yes.
Okay, so now, Loma regulator asking people to have two different kinds of waste bins.
One for organic,
one for
recycling.
So, and I see the PSP, they come to collect these waste. They come with a truck, one truck. they're going to put all of these waste into one truck. It's like asking the people to do what you have not done.
Okay.
How do you reconcile that?
I don't think they're looking to enforce the plastic collection at this time. What they're looking to enforce is the standardized waste bin for everyone. That's what they're going to start prosecuting people by 1st of January. However, I know that they have also launched some initiatives in the past about collecting your plastics in central areas within different locations. For example, in Lekki, we had at least 2 locations I know about where you could go and keep your plastics, and in bulk, and Loma will pick it up, and sometimes they could even pay people for coming to surrender those plastics and all of that. However, I don't think we are there yet in terms of being mandatory for individual properties and residents, because like you said, if you are not providing the mechanisms for collecting it and converting it as yet, for example, let me give you one. In Lekki, sometimes the places that were designated to go and drop your plastic, at some point, because it wasn't being collected regularly by Loma's agents, people started putting even regular waste in those plastic bins. So it started becoming a mess. We had to intervene, from my environment committee to clear those areas. So Loma doesn't have the moral authority yet to start to demand for separation of waste because they have not provided the structure and mechanisms for collection and maintaining that system. However, I must say that the standardized waste bin, it is long coming. Nigerians, we need to start to wake up to our own individual personal responsibility towards this waste ecosystem. The least we can do, as directed by the sanitation laws, is we have a standardized bin to keep our waste, be registered to a PSP who comes to collect your waste frequently, and make sure that your entire frontage, the gutters and the front area around your property is always clean. That is your personal responsibility as a citizen.
Okay, Folarin, let me come back to you, because you're seeking to represent Mushin Federal Constituency 2 at the House of Representatives, Lagos people, Mushin people. I know you're going to have to actually do a lot of work to try to convince them, just like Tari is speaking here, because they don't understand Tari's English in your area that much. I mean, you're dealing with not the too high profile people there. So let's look at the waste management and disposal in Lagos, in your constituency. What do you think is the problem there? And should you be elected into office, what do you intend to do differently?
Yeah, thank you very much. The waste management system, as far as Mushin Federal Constituency is concerned, oftentimes you hear issues from the PSP operators, late pickup of refuse. They say like 3 weeks, and we see the refuse keep growing daily in size and littering on the floor, and also due to this heavy downpour the past few weeks now, some areas in Mushin have been flooded. So many areas from the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Aziz, Idiaraba, down to Ishaga Close, Itire. So it boils down to how we manage our waste, the timely disposal of this waste. And Loma, you can't even fault Loma, the PSP operators. Why? Because some areas are inaccessible. Why? Due to the deplorable state of road. And so they find it difficult to move their truck into those areas. And also, most time when you try to engage the PSP operators, also, why they don't visit the constituency often. The reason they give is that it takes a while for them to offload the refuse bin at the loading dump site. So it's always an issue. Say they queue up due to the heavy rainfall weakness for the past few weeks now. So it's a daunting challenge to them. So they try to at least, of course, they need to provide these services. Consider the fact that without providing service, the residents will not even pay for their levy. So of course they will be at a loss because this truck here is being run on diesel, and you and I know the cost of diesel at this moment now. So it's a challenge on the part of the state government to fix this road, accessibility of these areas of communities where these PSP operators can move in freely to pick up this refuse is very, very important.
In case you're joining us now, is Rethinking Lagos. My name is Captain Smart, and Deji Akinpelu is in the studio here. I will have two special guests in the persons of Folarin Opeyemi Joseph, YPP candidate of the Federal House of Representatives, Mushin Federal Constituency 2. And of course, there's Tari Taylour, who is running for the Youth Party, the Lagos State House of Assembly, Etiosa Constituency 1. And we're looking at waste management and disposal in Lagos. This is Rethinking Lagos. And we're considering this memo or this public notice put out there by Loma saying to the members of the public they should get waste bins. And if you don't get it, Loma is saying that from January 1, 2023, just under 3 months from now, you're going to be facing prosecution. What do you make of this directive from Loma? Because Deji is bringing us insider information that you have to actually get 2 waste bins now. You know, one for the recyclable waste and the other one for the organic. Remember, there's a timeline, and the cost of this, waste bins, Tari has told us, average of 30,000 naira, and in some quarters, that's some big money. I was discussing with Deji earlier. We have manufacturers, who deal in plastics locally. Is there not a way to actually enter into some kind of a collaboration with them and produce these bins and make it available to the masses? Government is about masses. To the masses, make it more affordable so that people don't complain. Like the woman said, a compound should use 1. How big is this to actually contain waste from a compound, and how long will it take Loma or their agents to come and pick this waste? That's the problem.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I think we first of all have to clarify. Loma has not said that people must buy the waste bin from them. They have given a standard waste bin, that this is the standard waste bin that we want everybody around Lagos.
Hold on, Deji, I thought you said there's a second one.
There's a second
which
bin.
must be
but you have your organic waste bin. Yeah, which I still made a call to Loma before now. Like the second bin, it's compulsory. It's a smart bin. It has a chip in it that you are supposed to put your recyclables.
Are they going to start enforcing that as well?
Yes, the enforcement is going to come. The enforcement is going to come.
Okay.
So, but I demand a clarification.
Yes, I think
a public clarification.
I think so. But I am speaking smart. I think for the benefit of this conversation, let us talk about the standard waste bin. Okay. Which right now I think Lagos is doing about 20%. It's very poor. How can we be operating in this city and you have companies, you have apartment buildings? And there was something that the lady said about a compound contributing to buy 1. That is not enough. You cannot have 6 apartments in a building and using only 1 waste bin. Every apartment should have their own waste bin. That is why even when the PSPs are late, everything overflows and you have a mess. Yes, we know the PSPs have issues with their collection, like she said, with the dump site and all that. That is a problem that Lagos State needs to fix and fast. However, we can only talk about what we as citizens have control over, which is how we keep our waste and the relationships that we have with our PSPs. Now, we must have a standard. Like I said, it is very important, and I think we can all agree on that. If we know the importance of waste management and public health, we all must set a standard. Now, what we must be talking about is how do we collect all the plastic that Lagos is generating, all the millions of tons of it, and convert it into suitable containers that we, like you said, that the masses can access and we can all use. Buy cheaply. Why is a bin 30,000? Because we are relying on things that are bought wholesale, probably imported, and all of that. Now, with the extended responsibility program, which states, I don't know if you know about this, Smart, that companies like Coca-Cola and 7-Up and La Casera and all these people that produce plastic bottles, it is a law, it is an act of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that they are supposed to collect back those bottles and invest them into, waste management and taking care of the environment. But right now they are not doing it. To what degree is that act being enforced?
Okay.
So if we started being very deliberate about collecting all of our plastic, and through local cottage industries in our communities, start converting those plastics into suitable containers that houses, homes, offices can use to store their waste, then it's a way of recycling our problem.
Tari, it looks like you were in a meeting that I had with Deji before we came on. Like, this is a matter of legislation.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are vying to get into the Lagos House of Assembly.
Yes.
Do we have laws that could actually put these things in place, or is it one of the things you're seeking to get in there to change?
Yeah, apparently we do. We have the Lagos State sanitation laws. If they were implemented to the letter, Lagos will have no excuse to be dirty. But the reason why we are falling short is because implementation of the laws and enforcement is very poor. Also, there needs to be high orientation. We have all slept on this environment issue. We feel very comfortable in living in a dirty environment. Everything we do in Lagos is done against a backdrop of filth. Shame on us. We need to wake up and start to take charge and control our environment, the cleanliness of it. And it's a collective responsibility. We, the citizens, have our part. The PSPs have their part. Because I hope you know, Smart, that the PSPs have a social contract with the Ministry of Environment, that when you go into communities and you see dump sites, they are supposed to clean it. It is their duty. Loma also has a responsibility. All the regulatory agencies, LASEPA, even the Ministry of Environment, they all have a part to play. So we all need to come together and solve this problem. And we need to think out of the box. We need to be very innovative. So these laws are there. I just told you about the extended responsibility program.
But
Yeah.
the EPR in
yes.
Lagos, hold on, the EPR in Lagos has not been domesticated. What we have is the Lagos plastic policy, which has been under review for the past 2 years. And there are lots of challenges with that policy, and lawmakers need to look at it. So EPR compels producers of plastic to be responsible for the life cycle of the plastic that they produce. So, for example, what you are telling people to pay for to collect these plastics, these producers of plastics can actually make a system available whereby you and I don't even have to pay for the collector, the bins. They will provide the bins.
Yeah.
Because you're saying waste is wealth. You're coming to collect wealth from me, and you
Yeah,
also
paying for
want me to go
pay
and
for it.
buy
Yes.
or pay for the container that I'm going to put it inside. It's like going to church and you want to give your offering, and your pastor says you have to pay for the envelope.
You know, go see the offering now.
So the plastic policy of Lagos State, we need to look at it and we need to enact it, but we need to look at it properly. What we have, instead of us to have the association, FIBRA, for instance, that's the plastic...
That's the
food
alliance.
and-
The alliance of the companies that produce plastic.
Yeah. The funding, where should the fund reside? Should it be with government or should it be with the association? We strongly believe that it should be with the association, and this association, they should be responsible for every bottle of plastic that you find out there. They should pay back. A situation whereby, like you were saying in Lekki, collection centers. Let us have collection centers all around the city of Lagos. People by themselves will carry their recyclables and go to the collection centers and collect their money. I don't even need to put it in front of my house. Incentivize people with their waste. Why, when you say waste is wealth, why are people paying for the container to carry the waste? In this same Lagos, the green and orange bin was given by the government many years ago. Immediately you pay your land use charge, you are given that bin. Why has that changed? It is a system, we're having a system of collecting, and the people are not feeling it. You understand? We also have to look for local solutions. You cannot have one bullet that will solve the same problem for everybody in the city of Lagos.
Yeah.
In our localities, in Mushin where he lives, the people have a way of managing their waste, of collecting their waste. Have you sat down with them, to plan with them, to think with them? Do they need your PSP mighty big trucks to come to their environment? Must they have those? Are there other smaller initiatives that you can implement in those areas?
That could even be locals.
Yeah,
That
think,
this can become jobs
Yes,
for them.
I think that's the way we need to go. Absolutely, that's the way we need to go. Like every constituency, every community, every zone around Lagos needs to have their own personalized waste. I like to call it a little cottage industry.
Yeah.
Where local women, young people, they innovate. They find ways to come together, collect their waste, and convert it to solve problems within that community. That is the way of turning our waste into wealth. Yes.
Folarin, where do we go from here? As we're running out of time. So where do we go from here? Using Mushin as a case study here. What do you see with this policy?
Yeah, going forward, and there's a name for us to reform our local government system. Clearly, it's not functional because these are the every the local government should take the lead in engaging the community.
Do we still have local government systems in Nigeria? Do
Yeah,
people know who their local government chairmen are? Do they know their councillors?
I think that is the challenge. Also, we need to reform the local government system. We need to strengthen their capacity to handle this basic responsibility. The state government need to ensure the policy is in place, and also galvanize the local government chairman. Also, in ensuring in the implementation of this policy, in engaging community leaders, in sensitizing every resident within each communities, and everyone should take responsibility for waste management in his of So,
Tari, just before we go, I thought that was what the former governor Bola Tinubu was trying to do when he ran into problems with President Obasanjo, as he then was, when he was trying to create the LCDA so that government could move closer to the people. Has this worked, especially in waste management?
No, it hasn't. The local government, statutorily by the constitution, is responsible for waste
management
within our communities, but they are not doing anything with regards to that because it has now become a state responsibility. LOMA is a state agency, not a local agency. How are we localizing and breaking down the functions and the mandate of LOMA on a localized level? That's what we need to be thinking. The local government has their, I work with them in Etiosa, for example. The local government has an environment unit, and because they have authority to enforce laws, so oftentimes I work with them and my committee works with them in enforcing.
But it looks like what they go to do all the time is to find people, to arrest people, to charge levies.
Local government officials, they need reorientation. Like you said, there needs to be a reform in the local government system. The local governments they're not discharging their duties. If everybody was doing what they are supposed to be doing, Lagos will be clean. And we in the Lagos State House of Assembly, by God's grace, when I get there representing Etiosa 1, we are the ones who will provide that oversight function to make sure that every department, every agency, all the regulators are doing exactly what they should be doing, and Lagos can be clean.
Lagos can be clean. Again, Deji, let me come to you. What do you see? Do you think this policy, the Lagos government should go and rethink it? This is rethinking Lagos.
Yes, definitely. We need to rethink this kind of policy. Like I keep saying, every unit, like you rightly mentioned, local government, it's originally statutorily it's the function of the local government. What we've done in Lagos is that we keep trying to solve the problem of Lagos from the center and weakening the local government. So parking charges that is meant for local government, you have taken it. It's now state. Waste management is now state. So you're going to struggle with your policy when you begin to make policies for everybody across board and implementation. But when you have local governments, when you bring it to the grassroots, the people understand their environment better. The people are closer to that system, and you're able to design what works in that environment. Local governments have been powerful, and they are doing stuff in transportation. You took transportation too. Pretty much you took it up as state. But local governments have the capacity to do all these things. Bring it down to the people and let us come up with solutions. You don't have to ban cart pushers everywhere. You can semi-formalize them for areas and find a way that they can work with PSPs. But we have an existing law that bans their activities. But without them, so when you talk about waste management being done in Lagos, it's being done largely by the informal sector, by those guys that you wake up in the morning and you see going all around. But what we try to label around it now is insecurity.
Criminals,
But you know that they also constitute a problem.
So that's why they have to rethink it.
So it has to be like we have to
semi-formalize.
I mean,
you have to. We have to semi-formalize. That is, don't let them just operate.
They have
Bring
to be
them
some
together.
regulation.
Yes, some regulation. In your area, how many of them are in this area? There are 10 of them. We have their numbers, we have their
You can
ID.
profile them.
You profile them, you register them,
Yeah.
and you let them function. You uniform them. You can track even their the smart card, the smart beans that you are having as beans. Rather introduce it and say, okay, for security reason, track their
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it is how to do the bottom line for me is how do we come up with our own local solutions? Not say that you are looking at what exists in Dubai or exists in London. A city is meant to be organic. If you're 5 years old, you cannot act or do things of a 20-year-old. You just want to jump overnight. No, let us grow as a city organically and truly. A Lagos that is true to Lagosians. That's what we are asking for.
That's it. So
Absolutely.
what is going to work in Lekki might not work in Mushin. So the Lagos State government has to hear that one. Unfortunately, this is all we have time for today. We've had here Deji Akinpelu. Thank you so much, always, for being here. And the Lagos State House of Assembly Etiosa constituency one candidate of the Youth Party, Tari Taylour. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Matt.
And there's Folarin Opeyemi Joseph vying for the Mushi Federal Constituency 2 under the platform of the YPP. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you very much.
And that's Rethinking Lagos for this week. Join us again next Thursday is at 4 p.m. We'll be back here to talk about Lagos, another topic. Hoping you join us at that time. Captain Smart is my name.